Thomas and the playground. It was nearly the end of the summer holidays, and Thomas the Tank Engine had been working hard all summer. They were building some new thing to play on in the school playground at Wayside Village Station. Thomas couldn't wait to see the children's happy faces to see the new playground. One day Thomas met a group of children at the village station. "Hello," he said to the children. "Are you looking forward to going back to school?" "Yes, we are," replied the children. "We want to see the new playground." "I've been helping to build it all summer," said Thomas, "and you'll have loads of fun playing on it on your break times," and then he puffed away. Later that day, the Fat Controller came to the sheds. "James, you are to collect the last load of things for the school playground in the morning," he said, "but the train will be too heavy and so you'll need Thomas to help you," and the Fat Controller left. James was looking forward to pulling his special, but he didn't want any help from Thomas. "I shouldn't have to be held up by a small engine like you," he said to Thomas. "If I get the job done myself, I will get it done in no time." "It's not to do with you being the fastest," said Thomas crossly. "I have worked hard building that playground for weeks, and you heard what the Fat Controller said. You can't pull it on your own. A train will be too heavy." "Nonsense," said James. "I can manage myself." And so early the next day, James went to the docks to collect his train. When he arrived, he saw his trucks were full of bits and pieces for the school playground. "The children are going to love seeing these things for the playground," said James. "You can't pull this train on your own," said Cranky. "You've got to wait for Thomas." "I won't," snapped James to Cranky. "I'll get there in plenty of time, even without Thomas's help." Thomas was looking for James. "James is supposed to be helping me for the new school playground," he said crossly, "and he thinks he can just wander out of the shed so early this morning." Meanwhile, James was badly struggling with his train. "Maybe Thomas was right," he thought to himself. "I should let him help me, but I'm not going to. I still want to have the fun myself." Thomas went to the docks. "Has James been here this morning?" he asked Neville and Cranky. "Yes, he has," replied Cranky. "I told him to wait for you, but he wouldn't listen." "I hope he doesn't break down," said Neville. "Heavy trains can cause overloads in your engine." "He still needs my help," said Thomas, and then he set off to find James. Thomas met Stepney at the junction. "Have you seen James?" asked Thomas. "Yes, I have," replied Stepney. "He seems to be carrying a heavy train. He was heading towards the direction of Wayside Station." "Thank you," said Thomas, and then he set off. When Thomas reached the Wayside Station, James wasn't there. "Did James come across this way?" asked Thomas to Lady and Molly. "Yes, he has," replied Molly. "Why do you need him, may I ask?" "He wasn't supposed to pull that heavy train without my help," replied Thomas. "It's for the school playground at Wayside Village Station." "I see," said Lady. "He was heading towards the direction of Knapford Station." "Right," said Thomas. "I'll catch him up there." Thomas finally got to the station. "Did James come across this way?" he asked Murdoch and Arthur. "We haven't seen him," replied Murdoch, "but if he has, he was heading towards Elsbeth Station." "What do you need him for?" asked Arthur. "He should have waited for me at the docks," replied Thomas. "He's got a really heavy train. It's for the school playground at the village station." James was puffing slower and slower with his heavy train. He wasn't having fun anymore. Then there was trouble. James hissed to a halt. "Bother!" he explained. "I'm out of steam." Then Duncan came along. James senses trouble when he sees Duncan. He's bound to tease him. "Well, well, well," he said to James. "What have we here?" "It's James. He doesn't seem to be doing anything useful." James was cross. "I'm not in the mood for a joke," he snapped. "I really badly need to get this train to Wayside Village Station." "Well, it seems you can't now," teased Duncan. "You're stuck in the middle of nowhere." "I really need you to find someone to help me with this heavy train," James said to Duncan. "So please, could you go for help?" Duncan knew it wouldn't be right to leave James stuck on the main line for hours, and so he hurried off as fast as he could. Thomas reached the Elsbeth Station. "Have you seen James by any chance?" he asked Dennis and Fearless Freddy. "No, I haven't," said Dennis. But why do you want to know? Asked fearless Freddy. Before Thomas can reply, Duncan arrived. That silly red engine badly needs help, he said to Thomas. He's out of steam and stuck on the main line with his heavy train. Thanks, Duncan, said Thomas, and then he set off once again. Thomas finally found James. James wasn't happy to see him at all. I suppose you've come to tease me, he snapped. No, I haven't, said Thomas. I've come to give you a good tell-off. I told you shouldn't have gone off with that heavy train. Well, I told you I shouldn't have to be held up by a small engine like you, said James rudely. This made Thomas really cross. If you don't let me help, he said, then the children will have nothing to play on. And worst of all, the Fat Controller will tell you that you disobeyed his order. You'll get no more specials for the rest of your entire time on this railway. He also might take away your red coat once again. James felt bad. He realised Thomas was right, and the Fat Controller did tell him that Thomas should help him. He said he was sorry to Thomas. In no time at all, Thomas and James were on their way with their train. The children saw the two engines, and they cheered to see the last things for the playground. And so a few days later, the children were back at school and were playing in the new playground. Thomas and James watched them having fun. We love our playground, they said to Thomas and James. It's the best playground we've ever played on. Thank you so much for helping to build it for us. It's really thanks to Thomas, said James. He helped to build it and made all the difference.